Hey, loving listeners, welcome back to Mind-Blowing Motive. Let me ask you something. What happens when the machine that's meant to serve you slowly starts replacing you? Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But it's not fiction anymore. This is real, and it's happening all around us. We live in a world where artificial intelligence is doing things we once thought only humans could do. Writing books, diagnosing diseases, making music, and even predicting your next thought. It's exciting, no doubt, but behind that excitement hides a darker, colder truth. A truth we often ignore just because we're too amazed to ask the right questions. What if I told you that with every task AI takes over, a little bit of our human purpose fades away? That while we're busy admiring AI's speed and accuracy, we're silently giving up our creativity, privacy, and independence. AI doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, and it doesn't forget. But most dangerously, it doesn't feel. And that's exactly where the danger begins. This video isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. Because in a world where machines are getting smarter every second, you need to be more human than ever. You need to stay aware, stay in control, and most importantly, stay valuable. Let's dive deep into the dark side of artificial intelligence. 12 powerful truths that will open your eyes and motivate you to not just survive, but rise above the machine. Ready? Let's begin. 1. The silent job killer. Automation replacing human hands. Once upon a time, having a job meant having security. You learn a skill, you work hard, and you get paid. Simple. But in today's world, that simple formula is breaking. And do you know what's breaking it? Not war, not recession, but something colder, quieter, and smarter. Artificial intelligence. Let's get honest. Machines are no longer just helping us. They are replacing us. AI is doing what no human employer ever could, working 24/7, no sleep, no mistakes, no complaints, no salaries. From factories to offices, AI is quietly sweeping across industries like a silent hurricane. And the scariest part? It's not making noise while doing it. Think about it. Self-driving cars mean fewer taxi drivers. Automated cashiers mean fewer retail workers. AI-powered chatbots are handling customer service calls that once gave jobs to thousands of people. Medical diagnostic tools are replacing lab technicians. Even creative fields like music, art, writing, and filmmaking, things we once thought needed the human touch, are now being assisted or even led by machines. Now imagine this. You show up for work one day, and you're told that your position has been dissolved because a system has been installed. No warnings, no negotiations, no emotions. Just a line of code that does what you do, maybe even better. It's brutal, and it's happening faster than most people realize. But here's the twist. It's not just about losing jobs. It's about losing identity. For many people, their work defines who they are. It gives them a sense of purpose, pride, and routine. When that's taken away by a machine, what's left behind? A paycheck is just money, but purpose? That's human. And AI has no way of understanding or restoring that. And what about the next generation? Are we teaching them to memorize and repeat? Or are we helping them build creativity, resilience, emotional intelligence, and adaptability? The very traits AI can never master? Because if our children only learn what machines can also do, they will compete and lose every time. But if they build what machines can never be, human, they will always lead. So no, the goal isn't to fight AI or hate technology. It's about understanding its limits and enhancing our unique gifts. Yes, AI may be able to calculate faster, write cleaner code, or predict data trends, but it can't look into someone's eyes and understand pain. It can't feel the thrill of falling in love or the heartbreak of losing someone. It doesn't have dreams. You do. So don't just chase job titles. Build yourself into someone irreplaceable. Someone with creativity, emotion, and intuition, things no machine can mimic. Now think about this. If a machine learns faster than you, works longer than you, and costs less than you, what's the one thing you still have that it never will? 2. The death of critical thinking when AI decides for you. We all want life to be easier, right? That's why we use Google Maps instead of asking for directions, ask ChatGPT for ideas instead of thinking deeply ourselves, and rely on Netflix to suggest what to watch. It saves time, saves effort, and often feels smarter. But here's the catch. Every time you outsource a decision to AI, you lose a little bit of your power to think. Now that may sound dramatic, but it's the truth. Imagine this. You want to buy something online. You don't really compare much. The algorithm already knows your taste, your budget, your habits. It shows you something and you click Buy Now. Sounds efficient, right? But here's what just happened. You didn't decide. AI did. You didn't explore all your options. You didn't think critically about your needs. You just followed. This pattern is everywhere. AI now curates your news feed, your shopping list, your playlists, your social media content, even your dating suggestions. Over time, it begins to shape your mind, what you believe, how you feel, who you trust. You stop asking, is this right for me? And start thinking, well, if the system suggests it, it must be good. And when that happens, you're no longer the thinker, you're the consumer. Your brain, one of the most powerful machines in the universe, gets used to being passive. It no longer asks, it reacts. And reaction is the enemy of progress. Let's look at students. Many now use AI to write essays, solve math problems, and even do research. While this may sound like innovation, it's actually dangerous if done without balance. Students may get good grades, but they miss the process of learning how to analyze, question, and build ideas, skills that shape the mind and prepare them for real life. Critical thinking is what allows humans to solve new problems, challenge injustice, discover truth, and create meaning. It's what led people to invent electricity, fight for human rights, explore space, and write poetry. When we lose the habit of thinking for ourselves, we don't just become lazy, we become vulnerable. AI doesn't have a moral compass. It doesn't know right from wrong. It just optimizes for efficiency, attention, and engagement. If we blindly follow its recommendations, without questioning, without reflecting, we may end up in a world where machines rule our minds, not because they took control, but because we willingly handed it over. The scariest part? You won't even notice when it happens. It's so smooth, so convenient, so helpful that you'll feel like you're in control, when in reality, the machine is doing the thinking for you. So what's the solution? Simple. Stay curious. Ask why. Ask what if. Think before you click. Reflect before you believe. Challenge yourself to go beyond the algorithm. Learn to enjoy deep thinking again through books, real conversations, self-reflection, and mindful decision-making. Because once you stop thinking for yourself, someone or something will do it for you. Let this sink in. Are you truly choosing your thoughts, or are you just following suggestions without realizing it? 3. The privacy illusion. When AI knows you better than you know yourself. Imagine waking up in the morning, and before you even say a word, your phone already knows you're sad. It suggests a comforting playlist, offers food delivery coupons, and shows you motivational videos. Sounds magical, right? But what if I told you it's not magic? It's surveillance wrapped in convenience. Every click you make, every voice note you send, every photo you like, every GPS location you visit, AI is watching, learning, storing. It's building a version of you not for your benefit, but often for profit. This is the dark truth behind our smart lives. We are being watched more than we know. Think about it. You casually search for hiking boots, and suddenly every ad on your phone is about outdoor gear. You talk about a vacation near your phone, and travel deals start popping up within minutes. This isn't coincidence. It's data harvesting. And AI is the silent collector, analyzing patterns, emotions, and behaviors to predict what you'll want before even you know it. But it doesn't stop there. With facial recognition, voice detection, typing habits, even your walking style, AI can now identify and monitor you with frightening accuracy. What used to be private, your thoughts, feelings, desires, are now part of a digital profile, stored in servers you've never seen, managed by companies you've never met. The worst part? Most of us agree to this without knowing it. Those long terms and conditions we never read, that's where your digital freedom is quietly being sold. You trade privacy for convenience, location for discounts, voice data for better results, photos for filters, and in doing so, you invite AI deeper into your life, into your home, your habits, your heart. This kind of surveillance isn't just creepy, it's powerful. With enough data, AI doesn't just respond to your behavior, it starts shaping it. It knows what triggers you emotionally, what persuades you to buy, when you're most likely to feel insecure, lonely, or impulsive. And big companies use this to keep you clicking, buying, scrolling. You are no longer the customer, you are the product. Now, privacy is more than just hiding secrets. It's about freedom, the freedom to think, feel, and act without being influenced or manipulated. When AI knows everything about you, from your sleeping patterns to your mental health, from your political leanings to your relationship status, then how much of you is truly yours? Even scarier is the future. Imagine insurance companies using AI to increase your premium based on your health data. Employers checking your online habits before hiring. Governments tracking dissenting voices with facial recognition. It's not science fiction. In some countries, it's already happening. But let's be clear, AI itself isn't evil. It's a tool. The danger lies in how it's used and how blindly we allow access to our most sensitive information. That's why awareness is your first line of defense. Ask questions. Check your privacy settings. Read before you agree. Use tech, but don't let tech use you. Protecting your privacy is not about hiding. It's about maintaining your right to be human in a world that's becoming more mechanical. You deserve to have thoughts that are just yours. You deserve to make choices that aren't predicted by a machine. So ask yourself today, in this connected world, are you living privately or are you just comfortably monitored? 4. The mental trap. How AI destroys confidence and fuels comparison. We scroll through our phones every day, sometimes for hours. We watch perfect faces, hear perfect voices, see perfect lives. And deep inside, without even realizing it, we start asking, why isn't my life like that? This is where the real danger begins, not from AI's power to create, but from our failure to separate real from artificial. Thanks to AI, filters can now reshape a face within seconds. AI-generated influencers look more attractive than real people. AI edits voices, fixes skin, makes backgrounds magical, and turns an ordinary moment into a picture-perfect story. And as we consume this content again and again, we slowly fall into a dark mental trap, unfair comparison. This comparison isn't with real humans anymore. It's with something unreal, something designed to look flawless, something built to make you feel that you are less. And the sad part? The more you compare, the more you lose confidence in your own beauty, your own journey, your own worth. AI is used in social media algorithms to show us the most engaging, most glamorous, most filtered content. But that doesn't just entertain, it triggers. It makes us anxious, makes us insecure, makes us think we're not good enough. Teenagers are suffering more than ever from depression, anxiety, and self-doubt, all fueled by an illusion created by AI-powered perfection. But it's not just about looks. AI-driven productivity tools and content creators show you how fast someone is working, earning, growing, and suddenly you feel behind. You wonder, am I doing enough? This silent stress eats away your peace and tells you, you're not successful enough, not smart enough, not fast enough. That voice inside your head, many times it's been planted there by the content you consume. The biggest irony is that while AI is marketed as a tool for convenience and progress, it's often a tool for mental pressure and performance anxiety. We are constantly being reminded that we should be better, faster, richer, thinner, while AI keeps showing us more people who appear to be just that. This culture of toxic comparison is not only exhausting, it's fake, because what you're seeing is not always real. That perfect skin, filtered. That success story, edited. That influencer's happiness, staged. And the AI behind all this doesn't care about your mental health. It only cares about clicks, engagement, and retention. It feeds you what keeps you scrolling, not what keeps you stable. So what do you do in a world where AI constantly tells you who to be? You pause. You breathe. You remind yourself, you are not a machine. You're allowed to grow slow. You're allowed to be imperfect. You're allowed to take a break. Real confidence doesn't come from matching someone else's filtered life. It comes from owning your own unfiltered truth. Protect your mind. Be mindful of what you consume. Choose content that lifts you up, not content that breaks you down. Surround yourself with real people, real conversations, real growth. Use AI as a tool, not as a mirror. Because if you let it define your worth, you'll always feel less, even when you have more. Now take a moment and ask yourself, are you comparing yourself to a real person or to an algorithm's illusion of perfection? 5. Broken connections. When AI replaces real relationships. Remember the time when people used to sit together, talk for hours, laugh, cry, and truly connect without checking their phones every 5 minutes? That world is slowly fading. And the new reality, we're more connected digitally, but more disconnected emotionally. The reason? AI is changing how we relate to people, and not always for the better. Let's face it, nowadays many conversations start with a notification. Relationships are often measured in likes, hearts, and blue ticks. Instead of asking someone how they feel, we wait for them to update their status. Instead of visiting a friend, we react to their story. It may look like we're social, but in reality, AI-powered apps are replacing genuine human interaction with surface-level engagement. Even more disturbing is how AI is being used to simulate relationships. Virtual companions, AI girlfriends or boyfriends, chatbot friends. These digital beings are programmed to listen, respond, and make you feel emotionally satisfied. But the truth is, these relationships are one-sided, hollow, and based on code, not care. Why is this a problem? Because human relationships are supposed to challenge you, teach you, comfort you. They involve misunderstandings, forgiveness, joy, tears, depth. But AI doesn't feel. It doesn't argue, doesn't grow, doesn't change. It gives you a controlled version of comfort, but takes away the beauty of real connection. The more people depend on AI for emotional support, the more they lose their social muscles. Skills like empathy, patience, compromise, and listening. These aren't just qualities. They're the foundation of any strong family, friendship, or marriage. When we stop practicing them, we become more isolated, more emotionally numb, and less human. Also, AI-driven social platforms control what we see, who we interact with, and how long we stay connected. They push content designed to trigger emotion, sometimes positive, often negative, just to keep us online. This means even our emotions are being managed by machines. The people we argue with, the topics we debate, the opinions we form, so many of them are influenced by AI-generated feeds. Think about how this affects families. Parents distracted by screens, kids raised on tablets, siblings not talking at the dinner table. We're together, but we're apart. And slowly, the glue that binds families and friendships starts to weaken. Let's not forget, relationships thrive on time, presence, and emotional investment. No AI, no matter how advanced, can replace the warmth of a real hug, the sincerity in someone's voice, or the depth of eye contact. These are the things that make life meaningful. Without them, we may have company, but not connection. So what can we do? We can choose to be intentionally human. Put down the phone when someone is talking. Listen fully, not just with ears, but with heart. Prioritize presence over pixels. Talk to your parents, your siblings, your friends, not just through emojis, but with emotions. AI will keep evolving, but if we let it control how we connect, we'll wake up one day surrounded by machines, but feeling completely alone. Ask yourself today, are you building real relationships or just maintaining digital connections? 6. Mind control. When AI shapes what you believe. What if I told you that many of your beliefs, opinions, and even emotions are being gently molded? Not by your parents, not by your teachers, not even by life experiences, but by algorithms? Sounds impossible, right? But it's not. Every time you scroll through social media, search something on YouTube, or even read news online, AI is deciding what you see. It doesn't show you information randomly. It shows you what keeps you engaged and what keeps people engaged. Content that triggers strong emotion, outrage, fear, desire, even hate. Slowly, without you realizing it, the more you click on certain types of posts, the more similar posts you get. You start living in an information bubble where every piece of content confirms what you already believe. Over time, you stop questioning things. You stop seeing the other side. You think your view is the only truth and everyone else is wrong or misled. This is not just affecting individuals. It's affecting entire societies. People are getting divided over politics, religion, identity, and ideologies. Not because they sat and thought deeply, but because AI fed them information in a way that amplified confirmation bias. Let's be honest. AI doesn't care about truth. It cares about attention. If spreading fake news gets more clicks, it'll do it. If emotional manipulation increases watch time, it'll deliver. And this isn't just a theory. There have been real-world consequences. Violent protests, election manipulation, hate speech, and even genocide have been linked to AI-driven content delivery systems. You might think, well, I'm smart. I think for myself. But the scary part is the manipulation is so subtle that even intelligent people fall for it. Because it's not about tricking you with one big lie. It's about feeding you hundreds of small, believable ideas until your perspective is completely shifted. Let's say you're curious about a health topic. You search once, then AI suggests more and more extreme videos or articles. Before long, you might believe in conspiracy theories that have no scientific basis. Not because you're foolish, but because the machine learned your patterns and knew how to guide your thinking. This is how freedom of thought gets compromised. And the worst part? We don't even know it's happening. It feels like our choice, but the reality is it's engineered influence. So what's the solution? We must reclaim our minds. That means seeking diverse perspectives, verifying facts, questioning sources, and most importantly, pausing before reacting. Don't let outrage content control your mood. Don't accept headlines as truth. Don't let the algorithm be your teacher. Also, learn to unplug. Your brain needs space to think on its own, to reflect, to disagree, to wonder. AI thrives on your attention, so protect it like gold. AI is a powerful tool, but your mind is sacred. Don't let it become a playground for algorithms. Now ask yourself honestly, are your thoughts truly yours, or have they been planted by what you're constantly fed? 7. The death of creativity. When AI replaces human imagination. Close your eyes and think about this. What makes humans truly extraordinary? It's not strength, not speed, not even intelligence. It's creativity. The ability to dream, to imagine something that doesn't exist yet, to turn thoughts into music, stories, inventions, and art. That's our real superpower. But today that superpower is under threat. Why? Because now AI can write poems, paint pictures, compose music, make films, design logos, and even create fashion, all within seconds. Sounds impressive, right? But beneath this shiny surface lies a deep concern. Are we losing the hunger to create just because machines can create for us? More and more people are using AI tools to write essays, generate art, compose emails, and even make social media content. It feels efficient, fun, and easy. But here's the danger. Easy isn't always better. When you stop struggling to think, to imagine, to create something from nothing, you stop growing. Creativity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. But if AI keeps doing the creative lifting for us, that muscle starts to weaken. And eventually, it forgets how to work altogether. The beauty of human creativity isn't just in the final product. It's in the process. The late nights, the crumpled pages, the failed attempts, the messy colors, the emotional breakdowns, and the breakthroughs. AI doesn't go through any of that. It just produces output. Clean, fast, but soulless. Let's be clear. AI doesn't feel. It doesn't understand pain, joy, wonder, or nostalgia. It doesn't get goosebumps from a melody. It doesn't cry after finishing a heartfelt story. It can copy styles, mimic tones, generate new combinations, but it cannot experience anything. That's the missing ingredient. And that's what makes human creativity so powerful. We create from emotion. When a mother writes a lullaby for her child, or a survivor pens a poem about their journey, or a painter expresses heartbreak through colors, those are not just creations. They are emotional imprints. AI can replicate the structure, but not the soul. There's another danger. As AI fills our screens with ready-made content, people start to consume more and create less. They begin to believe that unless something is perfect, fast, or trendy, it's not worth sharing. So they hold back. They delete drafts. They feel ashamed of imperfections. And slowly the human voice gets drowned in a sea of flawless, lifeless digital noise. But here's the truth. Creativity is not about perfection. It's about expression. It's about telling your story, your way, even if it's rough around the edges, even if no one claps. So what should we do in this AI-dominated age? Use AI as a tool, not a substitute. Let it help with ideas, support your vision, spark new directions. But don't let it replace your originality. Keep journaling, keep sketching, keep singing, keep building. Whatever your medium is, own it. Your creative fingerprint is one of a kind, and the world still needs it. Because at the end of the day, machines can produce content, but only you can create something with a human heartbeat. So, pause and ask yourself, are you still creating from your soul, or are you letting machines create for your silence? 8. Dependency disorder. When you can't function without AI. Think for a moment. What happens if your internet goes down for just a day? You can't check the weather, can't find directions, can't communicate properly. can't even remember someone's birthday without Facebook reminding you. Now imagine something even deeper. What if one day AI tools like voice assistants, grammar checkers, personal recommendations, or even AI-based customer service disappear? Would you still function smoothly? Most people wouldn't. That's the scary reality. We're becoming so dependent on artificial intelligence that many of us can't do basic tasks without it. Need to set an alarm? Ask Alexa. Need to write an email? Let AI suggest the words. Need to cook something? Ask ChatGPT or Google Assistant. It feels like help, but too much help creates helplessness. And dependency on AI starts subtly. At first, it's just a tool, convenient, helpful, fast, but slowly it becomes a crutch. We stop learning directions because GPS tells us where to go. We stop memorizing because search engines are always there. We stop writing thoughtfully because autocomplete does it for us. And before we know it, we become mentally lazy. This dependency isn't just about productivity, it affects confidence too. People now second-guess their thoughts, their decisions, their words, because the machine might have a better answer. They stop trusting their instincts. Instead of learning, they ask AI. Instead of solving, they rely on suggestions. Instead of growing, they become comfortable in shortcuts. Let's be real. AI is powerful, no doubt. But what happens if it fails, or gets hacked, or manipulated, or becomes biased without you realizing it? If you don't know how to live without it, you've already lost control. This is exactly how long-term dependency works. It starts with ease, leads to habit, and ends in disempowerment. And the irony? The more AI takes over, the more we forget the very skills that made us human: problem-solving, decision-making, memory, intuition, creativity, and resilience. Think about how our ancestors lived. They didn't have GPS, but they could read the stars. They didn't have digital reminders, but they remembered dates and details. They didn't ask Google, they asked each other. And in doing so, they remained connected, conscious, and capable. So, how do we avoid falling into this trap? The answer is balance. Use AI when needed, but don't let it think for you. Practice solving problems on your own. Make decisions without always asking for digital help. Challenge yourself to recall information instead of Googling it every time. Build the habit of mental independence. Technology should be a support system, not a substitute for your intelligence. Because if you let AI handle every part of your life, you might just wake up one day unsure of how to live without it. Think about this. Are you using AI to enhance your life? Or is it slowly replacing the way you live? Point 9. Overdependence on AI weakens human intelligence. We live in a world where everything is just a click away. Need directions? Ask your phone. Want to solve a math problem? Use a calculator app. Curious about something? Google it. At first glance, this seems like progress, and it is. But there's a hidden danger that's creeping in silently. The more we rely on artificial intelligence to do our thinking, the less we exercise our own minds. AI tools are becoming so advanced that they can write essays, generate art, solve complex problems, even predict outcomes. Impressive? Absolutely. But here's the problem. When we start depending on AI for every little task, we gradually lose our ability to think critically, solve problems creatively, and make decisions with confidence. It's like going to the gym and asking the machine to lift the weights for you. Sure, it's easy, but you won't get stronger. Our brains are like muscles. They grow when challenged. When we struggle to solve a puzzle, write a story, or navigate a tough decision, our minds stretch and strengthen. But if we constantly lean on AI to do the hard work for us, our mental muscles start to shrink. Slowly, our creativity fades. Our attention span shortens. Our memory weakens. And without realizing it, we become passive consumers of information rather than active thinkers. Worse still, AI doesn't always give the right answers. It can be biased, inaccurate, or misleading. But when we trust it blindly, we stop questioning. We accept what we're given without evaluating it. That's a dangerous habit because critical thinking, the ability to question, analyze, and form our own conclusions, is one of the most powerful tools humans possess. Lose that, and we lose our freedom to think independently. There's also an emotional side to this. When we stop using our own intelligence, we start feeling less confident. I can't do this without AI, we tell ourselves. That mindset kills self-belief. It convinces us that we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. And that's simply not true. Human intelligence is flexible, emotional, creative, and deeply intuitive. Things AI can only imitate, not truly understand. Yes, AI can be a helpful partner. It can boost productivity, speed up tasks, and support learning. But it should never become our crutch. We must keep our own minds alive, read books, solve problems, write from the heart, make mistakes, learn, grow. That's how we protect and strengthen what makes us human. Remember, technology is a tool, but you are the thinker behind it. Don't let the tool replace the builder. What's one area in your life where you can challenge your brain more instead of letting AI do it for you? Point 10. AI and the rise of emotional numbness. Artificial intelligence is built on logic, data, and prediction. But human life? It's built on feelings, emotions, and unpredictability. The more we let AI step into our personal spaces, our relationships, our communication, even our inner thoughts, the more we risk becoming emotionally numb. Think about it. Instead of having tough conversations with loved ones, people now vent to chatbots. Instead of feeling the joy of writing a heartfelt letter, we let an AI write it for us. The result? We slowly disconnect from our own emotions. Human connection requires struggle, misunderstanding, patience, and most importantly, presence. But AI skips all that. It gives us instant replies, filtered advice, and a non-judgmental voice, which might sound nice at first, but it slowly conditions us to avoid discomfort. And when we avoid discomfort, we miss growth. We miss learning. We miss the raw, messy beauty of being human. Emotional intelligence, the ability to feel, relate, empathize, and respond, is what truly separates us from machines. But what happens when we stop exercising those emotional muscles? We forget how to deal with grief. We lose the thrill of genuine joy. We become robotic ourselves, controlled by data, logic, and patterns. The scariest part isn't that AI might feel more human, it's that we might become less human. So while AI keeps advancing with powerful language models and emotion simulations, ask yourself, are we outsourcing our emotional life too? Or are we still in touch with what it really means to feel? What do you do regularly to stay emotionally present in a digital world? Point 11. AI can't replace emotional intelligence. Let's be honest. AI is powerful. It can analyze huge amounts of data in seconds, recognize patterns, translate languages, even create poems and songs. But there's one thing it still can't do, and probably never will. Feel. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. And this is one skill we must hold on to tightly, because it's what separates us from machines. Emotional intelligence means understanding your own emotions, recognizing the emotions of others, and knowing how to respond in a way that builds connection, trust, and empathy. It's the reason why some leaders inspire while others just instruct. It's what makes a friend comforting, a teacher memorable, a parent wise. It's not just about being nice. It's about being deeply aware of what others are going through and responding with care, patience, and understanding. Now think about AI. It can recognize facial expressions. It can simulate a conversation. It might even respond with a comforting phrase, but it doesn't feel joy, sorrow, fear, or love. It doesn't truly care, it's just code responding to patterns. And while that might be good enough in customer service or data analysis, it's not enough in real relationships. Imagine you're heartbroken and your best friend says, "I'm here for you." That simple sentence, when spoken by someone who genuinely cares, can feel like a warm hug. Now imagine a robot says the same thing. Same words, but no soul, no understanding behind them. That's the difference. Emotional intelligence also helps us in the workplace, in conflict resolution, in raising children, in building communities. When we lose this skill or stop developing it, we lose the human touch. And as we interact more and more with screens and less with people, we risk forgetting how to relate with real emotions. But here's the good news. Emotional intelligence can be practiced and strengthened. Start by listening more, truly listening without waiting to reply. Pay attention to how people feel, not just what they say. Ask questions, offer support, control your own reactions, reflect on your feelings. These are small steps, but they build emotional depth, something no AI can replicate. In a world filled with machines that think fast, it's those who feel deeply that make the biggest impact. Here's a thought. When was the last time you comforted someone, not with solutions, but just with your presence? Point 12. AI may know everything, but it doesn't understand meaning. We often say knowledge is power, and AI surely has tons of knowledge. It knows facts, dates, formulas, definitions. It can pull information from every corner of the internet, but there's something it doesn't grasp: meaning. Knowing something and understanding what it means are two very different things. AI can tell you the definition of love, but it doesn't know what love feels like. It can list the symptoms of grief, but it doesn't know what it means to lose someone. It can generate a motivational quote, but it doesn't truly understand what it means to struggle and rise again. Meaning comes from experience, from human life, from emotions and growth, not from data. Take music, for example. AI can compose a melody, but the heartbreak in a singer's voice, the trembling in a violin solo, the raw emotion of a live performance, these come from meaning, not just notes. AI might write a story, but it can't feel the pain of the hero or the joy of the ending. It might translate a poem, but it can't capture the depth of the writer's soul. Meaning is created through living, through joys and mistakes, through failure and recovery, through relationships and reflection. It's the feeling behind the fact, the purpose behind the process. And that's something no machine can fake. This is important because we are meaning-seeking beings. We don't just want to know, we want to understand. Why am I here? What's my purpose? What does success mean to me? What does happiness feel like? These are the questions that make life rich and deep. And these answers don't come from Google or AI. They come from within us. In our rush to use AI for everything, let's not forget this. Let's not become so obsessed with facts and outputs that we lose touch with meaning. It's okay to use AI for help, but let's make sure we're still asking the real questions, feeling the real feelings, and living the real moments. Because while AI may be smart, you are the one who gives life its meaning. Quick reflection. What's something in your life that means a lot to you, but would make no sense to a machine? Artificial intelligence is powerful, no doubt about it. But like every powerful tool, it demands responsibility. If we stay aware, question boldly, and use AI wisely, it can serve humanity, not replace it. So let's be smart, not scared. Let's lead the future, not follow blindly. Stay curious, stay human, mind-blowing motive. Here to awaken your mind every time.